Happy Sunday to everyone.
How are you doing?
Doing good.
I'm not sure if Schneider has any questions about the homework, so I'm gonna wait till he figures that. I just had some questions about the importing and exporting the routes from the
Okay. Okay. Give
Don't
Senator a
worry about
chance.
me. My plate is I'm focused on my New York Times right now, which
Okay.
I've made progress in. Okay. But go on, Elbow. Thank you.
Are
though.
you making progress? Are you continuing to make progress? That's the more important question.
Literally on it right now, just
Okay.
staring at code?
That's why I was asking if you had any questions about that, because that's what I'm working on, also my capstone, on trying to convert it into React and actually doing the what we're going to be going to on Monday, which is the routes and routing the pages together. I kind of started doing some of it and I kind of set up the pages, but I don't know if they are right and if I'm doing the right links or not.
Go ahead, share your screen. Let's take a look.
So you said I needed the app.js, which has the routes.
This is good.
Then I created my east side page, which I put the const and the links, but I don't know if I'm supposed to do a link to each one of them.
If you think of the link of an A tag, so if you want 4 A tags to show up, that's when you would do, well, three links.
Well, I'm doing the only reason why I did these links is because I don't know how to go from one page to the other yet. So to be able to go from one page to the other, if I'm working, to see the difference or to see what's going on.
So you've got this all set up right. If you request remote.
I have 3 more pages, which is the east side, the north side, and this one has the information that I needed to show, but it's not working. So I kind of X'd it out because I don't leave it in the right spot. Then I have the south page and the west page, but I don't know if I needed to link each page to the other pages or how it works.
So it's going to work just like an A tag would work, right? So in here, the only thing you're missing is your home page.
Okay.
But if we go to the north page, oops. Help if I could spell. That's going to take you to this page.
Okay.
Then if you click on any one of these, it's going to take you over to that one.
Okay. That's what I wasn't figuring out. Like, how do I get to that page to show? Because it wasn't showing me anything.
That's when you would want your home page that would have the links to those 4 pages.
Okay. So do I need to create a whole new home page or would that be the app page?
That I would leave the app only for the routing and make a whole separate new home page.
Okay, and then I have the template.js page, which this page is supposed to be the one that has all of the functions.
Okay.
But when I take out the functions out of being commented out, it's not really, some of them are going kind of grayish, like it says that it's not defined and stuff like that.
Okay.
So if I take this out,
is it that it's not defined or that it's not used?
it's given me, I'll show you the. So if I inspect and I go to the, which page was it? Template page, right?
But your template page isn't really going to be a page. It's just housing all the components, right?
Yes, but when I was in my north page, it would show this. Hold on. Sorry.
And then you probably have it, commented out.
I had to do multiple comment outs on this one because I had some notes and then it would break it.
Okay, so let's just start there. So, let me just check. I think up here you need, maybe you have a closing div at the end that needs to
Yeah,
get
but
commented.
I have to uncomment it out in different areas because of the way that,
Okay, so let's just get these working. So pantry info is in your template, I hope.
yes,
So what you need to do for these is, because we are exporting more than one thing, we're not going to just export the default template. We also need to export everything else.
oh, well,
So this is pantry info and requirements. So in your template, I'm going to go to your pantry info and I'm going to say export the const pantry info. And then same for our, basically all of these are going to get an export on them, which means social media. Let me just do this. Wherever there's a const, that one's done, that one's done. This one. This one. This one. This one. And then these should be const. Oh, this should have a const on it. Okay, now that they're all exported,
okay.
when we come into
In the
when
top,
we,
it says template where that you exported. I think that was the regular one as template to make the page.
that's
That,
fine.
okay.
So in here, what you do is, instead of just pulling in the template, you're also going to want to put in curly braces, because the curly braces are saying the non-default exports.
Okay.
You want to get the logo, the pantry info, the hour, the requirements, and the social media handles. And when you do all of that, now, bam, look at what you got.
Okay. So the only other thing is, I was thinking about those links as the kind of to take you to those pages. So I didn't know if I needed to go and put like to the homepage and then an arrow.
If
Instead,
you wanted to, you could.
everything will go back to the homepage instead of.
Yeah,
Because
that's
there's
totally
one
up to you.
arrow right here. And then I should take this north out because that would be my north side pantry information.
Right.
So this will be deleted, right? And then,
Well, yeah, that's fine.
and then an arrow would be put in here.
Because you don't want to link to the separate pages. You want to link back to the homepage, correct?
Link for the homepage and then put it there and then create a homepage. But what would I put in my homepage?
The 4 links to the different things.
And would my homepage be like the first page that shows up? So would I have to import all of my information from my homepage there?
Do you have an existing homepage?
I do, but it's in my, let me get to my GitHub.
So that's what you would want to put into your homepage, whatever's in your index.html.
But in here, it's not index, it's. I think my index is my toolbar. No, this is my navbar and homepage. Yeah, so this one right here.
So that's what you would want to make a home.js and link to.
So I have to copy all of this, but not the head, body, or any of that, just the divs, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right. If somebody else has a question, they could.
You got everything set up right on the routing, and you had the right thing in mind for the template. We haven't really gone over exporting multiple things from a file. which is why you know to put the export in front of everything. But now that you've got that set up, you can use the logo pantry info hour requirements on every one of the different cardinal pages.
Okay.
So now you can just set up your home page, and when you do
Oh,
that,
And I
what-
could also add the other ones, which are for the food bank itself, which are different than those, which I had to create two different templates, one for the food bank because it was different than the other rows. So all of the other rows are the ones that are gonna have to. Okay.
and that's what you will be commenting in once you get your home component set up.
And in my home component, I will do the same setup as this.
The same setup as essentially North.
All of
Where-
the, yep, all of the links, const north, and then the div, and within the div, then I'm doing the link.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, it's just a matter of what do you want to show up on your homepage. And if you've already got your homepage thought through here, then I would just reuse that.
okay, all right, because you had two examples in your thing, which was it was the homepage and it was the page that would show up.
Mhm.
I think it was, and that one didn't have much information or links, so I didn't know which setup I had to use for which one. That's why I was kind of confused within that area, but I see that I need the homepage to be able to actually be taken to the homepage and then be taken to all of the other links itself.
You got it. Yep.
Thank you.
Jennifer, any questions? Welcome. Happy Sunday.
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing good. You're sounding a little bit better.
Yeah, it's nice not to sound horrible. Yep. I'm in quarantine for like another 6 days though, which really stinks.
Lucky you.
Oh, at least I have a television and my computer. So that's good. Questions. Oh, I don't know where to start, to be honest. Can you let somebody else go for a minute so I can like figure that out? I've slept a lot, so
Sure. I think Schneider's the only other one, and you're still making progress on New York Times. Do you have any questions on that?
For my New York Times, I went about the long way. I got one thing. I'll just share my screen.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not the best at explaining. But I do have questions for React in that whole framework.
Okay.
But New York Times. Right here. I went about doing it the async method.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
'Cause, yeah, I kind of like it better than .den, but I did just have a meeting with Ryan as well, and he was like, yeah, async is definitely better. He just teaches .den so we can understand what's actually happening. So right now I have this printed out on the browser. I need to I think it was like I need to get the top five books. So the fire call, I just gotta do like some looping to get the things.
Probably. I think you're on the right track. If you go back to your script.js, let me just look at. Yes. So right now on line 6, you're saying go get the first book and then generate the HTML for that. Instead, what you want to do is loop over all of the books, and then add the HTML for each one of them.
Heard loop over all the books to generate HTML. Okay.
Yeah, you're on the right track. Right now, you're generating the HTML for the first book. What we want to do is generate the HTML for all 5 books by looping over them.
Heard. I'll get on that. Now, my questions for React. I was playing catch up. State, use state, all that crud. That was annoying to wrap my head around. So we use an array because use state gives us access to two variables, right?
Mhm.
So is it okay to assume that counter is the use state? Or
Counter is one of the two variables that comes out of use state. Use state returns two pieces of information, two variables that we use. Counter, which holds the actual value of the actual value of the variable in state. So counter is going to start out as 0. Then use
right
state
here?
also gives us a second function that we can use to update the counter variable, and that's the set.
Which we update right down here.
Yes.
So counter is equal to 0, the value put inside use state.
Yes. And the only way we are allowed to change the value of counter is if we use the set.
Right. That much I understood.
So whenever we want to update it, we use the set function. And whenever we want the actual value of that to show up, we use counter or whatever the first variable is.
Okay.
So here's the flow. We put let me make sure you've got this. Okay, so what happens is we say, hey, we've got this thing that we need in state. We always get two things out of state, the value and a function to update the value. And when we start that use state variable, we need to know what it's going to start at. So counter is going to start at 0. So what ends up happening is we say 0 is now stored in counter. Now in our return, all the way down here, counter is there. So that means 0 is going to show up here. Now, when the button is clicked, we're going to go up to this function right here. We are going to set counter, which is coming in from our state right here, to whatever counter currently is, that is 0, and we're going to add 1 to it. So now counter is going to equal 1. But because we use this set counter method, it's going to go back up and say, hey, this counter is now equal to 1. Go find all of the places counter got used, which is going to be right here, and replace it with the number 1. So what this set counter does is not only allows us to update the value here, it also means that because it's in state, it's automatically going to update itself down here.
I have a question regarding props as well.
Yep.
So if I remember, we did something along the lines of where's it at? We passed in the props. Where did I put it? Yeah, so we passed in the props over here, and then all we did was use dot notate. Yeah. So how does React automatically know to pick up on the props, or oh, that's how that works?
When it gets down to this point, according to React, props is just an object. So that's why we can use the dot notation here. But what the magic of JSX is doing is over here, it's taking these three props, I'm sorry, and automatically taking this syntax and converting it into an object.
So that's the under the hood stuff?
That's the what?
Under the hood stuff, I guess?
Under the hood, yes. What is React is doing is it's taking, because what are these? These are HTML keys, and these are HTML values. Key value, key value. How do we use key values in JavaScript? we use an object, we specify the key, and then we get the value out of that.
Right. Okay.
So all we're really doing is using HTML elements and values, HTML attributes and values, and passing them into the component on the JavaScript side.
Okay.
Any other React questions or questions in general?
Not at the moment for me.
Cool. Jennifer, we're back to you.
Okay, so something really weird happening to the New York Times React. I'm
Okay.
so excited to do it in React. And then it does this weird thing on me. I can't select my desktop, can I? Do I have to put it into this one?
You can share the other desktop if you want to.
It'll be a lot easier.
It should just be desktop 2 instead of desktop 1.
Yeah, okay. There we go.
Yep, you're good.
So I don't remember where I left off with doing this, to be honest. So I was hoping you could look at the code, because what happens when I like put it in the web browser is I get this without images,
Okay.
and sometimes I will get something coming up where it doesn't give me a list at all and it just disappears.
Okay. So let's start with the images. So let me go back. Oh, yep. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. So what we do is we make our API call. Oh, I have to request remote control. That might be helpful, Max. Okay. So we've got our use effect that makes the API call to get out all the lists. Then we set the lists into state.
Mhm.
Then we come down to your return and we say loop over all of the lists. And every time we find a new list, make an option for it. Okay, great. All of that's good. Then we say, hey, when that list is selected, we come up here, we make an API call based off of whatever the selected list was, and then we set that into books.
Mhm.
So now we come down and we look at where our books are, and our books are showing the book.title and the book author, and it's supposed to be showing the IMG here with the book image.
Now
What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a console log here of the book. And is it going to let me? Okay, no, it's not going to let me do that. So I'll just go over to here. Okay, so I pop open my console. I open up one of these. And when we open up the book, we see that there is a book, IMAGE. It's just spelled out. So if I go back over to your code,
seriously.
it is book IMAGE.
Oh my God.
And now your images show.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay, so now let's deal with, do we happen to remember which one it was we clicked on to break it?
Oh, I don't know. It's random.
Okay, here we go. It is cannot read properties reading map on line 46. Okay, so what I think is happening, one more. Let's take out this console log because we don't need that anymore, or I'll leave it commented in as a reminder. We put the value as the list name encoded. And then we say, hey, go get the selected list. So I'm going to console log out the selected list. And it works fine if we pick hardcover fiction. But my guess is if we pick one with a dash in it, it breaks. And that is because look at what's going on. What's logging out isn't our encoded list name. It's got the spaces in it.
Right.
So
Oh,
something's not right there. So let's look at what I thought we tried to tell it to do was the value was supposed to be the list name encoded, but
right.
what you've got going on here is the lists. Well, the lists is our array of items. We want to get the list name encoded from the list that we're
Oh,
currently looping over.
yeah.
And so now when we go back and grab one with a dash in it, it works fine.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, could you remind me, please, why I have a key and a value that's both
Yes.
with name encoded?
Good question. So the value is telling the browser, hey, when that list actually gets selected, we don't care about what display name they selected. What we want out is the list name encoded because that's what we're going to use in our API call right here.
Mm-hmm.
The key is so React can keep track of, hey, what list is this in the list of all of the lists? Basically, whenever we loop something over in React and generate out a bunch of different items, we have to put a key on it so React can keep track of it under the hood.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the key we use whenever we use .map, and whatever the key is should be unique. It just so happens that the list name encoded is always going to be unique. There aren't ever going to be two lists with the same list name encoded. So we used it both for the key so that React was happy when we mapped over it, but also for the value so we could get the value out from up here once we selected a list.
Okay. Okay. Good, good, good. All right, so then it looks like it works now. And that's it. I'm
Yes,
cool with that.
you are good to go.
Oh my goodness. I really love doing this in React more than I did because I was still trying to do it in JavaScript. I still kept getting it wrong and finding more mistakes. I stared at it for I don't know how many hours. No joke. Still couldn't figure it out and just went, I'm just going to switch to React and see how that goes.
Sometimes that is a good thing. Sometimes that is a bad thing, right? I think in this scenario, it's a really good thing for you to say, hey, I'm close. Let me get the win. Let me get it fully functional. Let me see that I understand all of this and great, move on to the next one. The danger in that sometimes is when you go, I can't get this working. Let me go try it in another language or another framework. And you try it there and you get stuck at another point. And then you go, all right, well, let me go try it in a different one. And so there's a little danger there of saying, hey, let's not try different things. Let's just get it working in one. But the flip side of that is that we are covering React anyway. So the fact that you're able to get it working in React is not a red flag for me.
Okay.
I think in this scenario, it was a good thing for you to try it in a different framework.
Yeah, well, it certainly helped. Minus those two issues. Could we look at the JavaScript, the vanilla JavaScript?
Sure, take me over to it. Okay, so
when I go live with this one, got my lists, but I don't have anything coming up with it.
okay, so let me hop into your console. There we go. And we've got some array coming out here, and it looks like all of the books are in here. So that's script line 31. That means that you did your list selected, you got the book's response, you parsed out the JSON, you logged it out. This is what we're seeing. Excuse me. Then you looped over them to get the book. You said as long as it's in the top 5, make the list item. The only thing that I don't like here is that this should be an opening UL tag.
Yeah,
Then you close it out after you've looped over all of them. Then you say, go get the element by ID called results, which is right here. And then finally take everything we generated and put that in. So
like I scoured it for syntax errors. I compared it to the video on YouTube. And man, I just cannot figure this out.
Okay, so we open the LI here, but we've got to close the LI over here. It's not a div, it's an LI for a list item.
Seriously.
Well, that's still not the problem.
Huh.
Books HTML
There's something wrong with it.
selected. Well, if it makes you feel any better, it's not immediately jumping out at me.
It does make me feel better. Like I had a little hissy fit over it yesterday.
Oh. We make it equal to this UL to get started. We keep on adding our list items to it. And then we get down to here and it says, screw everything that you just generated out. It's just going to equal the closing tag now. We have to add the closing tag in.
Oh. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. It was one darn thing.
Just the plus icon. Yep. That will get you.
Well, that's good. I got that far at least. And I did find other things I had to fix yesterday, and I was able to fix them. So it felt good being able to debug my own code.
Nice. Empowering, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was sitting here. I felt really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Looping back to Schneider or Alba, any questions?
I'm just watching.
Okay.
I'm trying to import the stuff. I'm changing all of the locations of the pictures and importing them and stuff, but it's still giving me a lot of errors. As I'm trying to rename the pages and the pictures of where they're at.
You feel you're making your way through them, or do you want me to take a look?
Take a look and see if I'm actually doing it right. So I created the home page. Hold on. Now I got so many pages. So I did the home page. So this is my work, the original one.
Yeah.
So in my home page, I was able to put it in there. Now I have a nav bar. Does that make a difference?
Nope, that's fine. You probably will want to make your nav bar its own component so that you can reuse it on different pages. But for now, I would just leave it in there.
Okay, so I changed the locations of the pages to what it would be in the React, which is the /north/
Now you're going to want to switch those over to links instead of A tags. But for now, it's okay to leave it as an A tag.
Put them here as links. So I just need to do the same thing.
Yes, you got it.
So just put this whole thing right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just change your A to a link.
So if that's my north, right?
But you want to be careful. Hold on, because you've got your navlink class in there.
That's
So
what-
instead of copying it, what I would do is I would just change this to a link. And then this to a 2. And then everything else should be fine.
Okay, that's what I was trying to work around.
Oh, sorry, I saved and your indentation ran.
That's fine. I was trying to get the indentation to run in. It was-
Okay, so let me just make sure the fact that it ran is probably a good sign. That's all in there. And then in your app, you've got your home. So
You gotta click on my Chrome, on my Google for it to pop up. I don't know where it went. It's probably on.
okay, let me just stop it. Oh, we got errors.
Oh, I'm gonna bring this up. Hold on. That's
Oh, thank you. Okay, so now it's mad about the images in your home.
So in the home CSS.
Oh, okay. That's a different problem.
So I put, because I have those, but I changed these right here. I'm just changing into the logos because they're actually logos, and now in the logos page, I haven't done these bottom ones.
Okay. I think it will work if you just use a slash instead.
Okay.
I hope. Nope. Crap. I ran into this last cohort too, and I can't remember how we fixed it. URL image reacts CSS. Oh, this, oh. There's something ugly that you've got to do with this, and I'm blanking on how you get those URLs to work. Let me try this. Can I put that in? I don't think that's the right answer either. No, that's not right. Module not found. There's something. Maybe those have to be in your SRC folder. Let me try that.
They are in the logos folder that's public.
Yeah, I think when you use the background image in your CSS, the CSS has to have access to it.
Okay.
So let me see. Vegetable East. This is one of those that like you got to play around with it until it works, and then when it does work, you're like, all right, I don't like that, but it is the way it is. Like it is working.
Yeah.
And let me restart this, and then I think you maybe let me put your periods back in now that they're in the source folder. Yay! Okay, now because your home page is just going to be at your slash route, that's going to work. And then the other thing you can do, like normally you don't go to slash home, you just go to the slash, and that's what's going to take you to your home page. However, if you really wanted that to show up, you could do something like this, and then the home element will show up either if there's nothing after it or if you go to slash home.
Yeah, I just wanted to show as the first page that anybody would see, and then
In
from-
that case, it would be this one right here.
So I had put this in so they could scroll through if they're in a small screen, because there's no other option to do it for it to actually show. And I have two more. Now that I have the pages, I got to work on putting the information from the pages to the pages. I have only done the north side one,
Okay.
but I have the contact form, and that seems like it would be different than the other ones because those are already JavaScript. So these right here, like the
Yeah, I would hold off on the contact form. We're going to be redoing a contact form once we get into full stack APIs of how to send an email. This, however, should
Like this contact form and this new pantry request form.
Yeah, so like the new pantry request form, we're definitely going to want to integrate with your API. But we're still a couple weeks away from learning how to do that. So you can port all of the UI stuff over. Just you don't need to worry about any of the JavaScript yet.
Okay, and then the other one is just the login and create an account page. So I know that we still need information on how to actually do it.
Correct. Yes.
I can at least do my home screen and my 4 pages and import all of the information from my other pages into this page. Now,
And you can make your login form and your pantry submit form and all of that stuff. You just won't hook up any JavaScript to it.
yeah, because there's the CSS and JavaScript that has to go for it to actually work.
Yep.
Anything, so you want me to just bring the HTML over?
The
And
HTML and the CSS are fine to bring over. Yeah.
for the nurse side page, I did all of these, and I just need to import these. To import the Food Bank Central, the blue thing on the bottom, all I just put the divs under it, right?
Mhm.
Have to create anything else or whatever, just put the divs right under it.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Good progress. Oh, excuse me.
I know it's a couple weeks out, but what do you mean by API, full stack API?
Yeah, so right now we've been doing everything front end, right? HTML, CSS, and then most of the JavaScript we've written is all running in the browser. What we move on to after React, which is also in the front end because it's also running in the browser on the end user side, we move into databases, right? Which is, hey, every time I refresh my page, all the information I entered goes away. There should be some way that we can structure that data so the computer can retain it so that when multiple users use our site, we can give them the information that pertains to them. Once we do that, then it's like, all right, well, how do we get the data that's sitting on our server into the front end that we've designed? And so that's when we focus in on the back end of building our own API of saying, hey, we've used the New York Times API, but how do we build our own API that links into our database that can give us the information we need? And so that's what we learn when we get into the back end and APIs is how do we basically make our website so that multiple users can submit information or get information about their account or stuff like that.
Okay. Am I safe to assume like you can input your own information when we're building our APIs, like the key value pairs and whatnot? Okay.
Yep. All of that will be part of it. And what we'll do is we'll end up designing what we call a database model to say, hey, these are the tables, these are the rows, and these are the columns. What information are we trying to save in our database? And obviously everyone's capstone is different, so everyone's database design will also be a little different. Any other questions for this evening from anyone?
Oh, I'm just looking at the homework right now.
It is trickier than I anticipated it to be, so we will be going over it in class tomorrow. I helped Alba through it, and I have some regrets about making that the assignment. So we'll make sure to cover some of that in tomorrow's class. Which reminder, we are in person if you can make it. Obviously, Jennifer, I know that you're still in quarantine. No big deal to join remotely. I will.
Most people.
I will make sure to bring my microphone with me, so it should be pretty easy to hear me remotely. But we have a guest speaker coming in, and I'm pretty excited about his talk. I think that will be a good one on open source software. But yeah, another week of React.
Very cool. Good to see you, Alba. Good to see you, Schneider. Good to see
I could have
you.
sworn we had a guest speaker flake on us like way in the beginning.
Yeah, we did.
We did, yeah.
Mhm.
Jay's already followed through with me and asked for confirmation and location and all of that stuff. So I would be very surprised if we didn't see him on Monday.
Good. Okay. We'll have a good night, guys.
You too. Feel better. I'll see you guys later. See you
Yeah.
guys tomorrow.